So, Ms. Avantika, let us try to do this question. Pluto has a mean distance of 2300 kilometer, mean diameter, I'm sorry, of 2300 kilometer and a very eccentric orbit around the sun. Eccentric मतलब हिंदी में हटेला या basically this is a circle, this is a circle, and this is a so this is a oval. So this can be called as a sort of eccentric circle. So one thing, is it making sense?
Yes.
So when we say somebody is eccentric, what we are saying is that थोड़ा हटेला है, मतलब उसका जो दिमाग है वो फोकस पे नहीं है. So Pluto has a mean diameter of 2300 kilometer and a very eccentric orbit around the sun with a perihelion distance of this and aphelion distance of this. What is the variation in solid angle subtended by Pluto from Earth's perspective during one of Pluto's orbits around the sun? Assume Earth's distance from the sun can be neglected. Okay. So there are 2-3 things that we want to understand. One is we want to understand what is a perihelion. Second thing what we want to understand is what is a aphelion. And third thing that we want to understand what is a solid angle. Are we clear? One thing.
Yeah.
Now, as I understand, in geography you do this perihelion and aphelion, but let us try to revise the definitions and let us try to see what they mean. Because another word that we will be covering would be perigee and apogee. So, for example, they can give you a question of Pluto. Similarly, they can make a similar angle for, say, Earth and Moon or Earth or Sun, whatever they can make a question. So, let us try to understand this perigee apogee also. And this is the best figure that I could get. 1 second. Can you see the figure?
Yes.
So this is the best figure that I could get. Now here, all the 4 are there. So what they say is, the definitions are like this, that you take any celestial body and its distance, the farthest distance from sun would be called aphelion and the closest distance would be called the perihelion. Are we okay about this? Is one thing.
Yeah.
So the farthest is epi and the closest is peri. But in case of moon and earth, system, this peri and apo, they are the same. Peri and ap are same. But here this helion is with respect to sun, and this, as I understand, this G would be with respect to earth. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah.
So aphelion is the farthest distance of a celestial body from sun. Apogee is farthest distance of moon from earth. Perihelion is closest distance of any celestial body from sun. So helion is with respect to sun, and perigee is the shortest distance of a moon from earth. Is it making sense? Are we clear? So when
Yeah.
Helios is there, then it is sun, and when G is there, it is earth. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Now let us look at the definition of the solid angle. Let us try to understand what solid angle is. Yeah. Okay. So this is the definition. This is how solid angles look like. So the definition of solid angle is very similar to what we had learned about the definition of the plane angle. The plane angle is d theta is equal to L by R. So distance of the arc, length of the arc divided by radius of the circle of which it is part. So we learned this as theta is equal to L by R, where L is this length of arc. And in this NCERT textbook, they have defined this length of arc as the ds and this radius to be r, and they have defined d theta is equal to ds by r. This is what we know, radian. छुट्टी करो, शाम को मिलते हैं. Now let us look at the definition of the solid angle. The solid angle is d omega as a ratio of the intercepted area dA of the spherical surface described above the apex as center to the square of its distance r. So let us try to understand this nonsense. Okay, sir. See, in very easy terms, what they are trying to tell you is that you take a football like this. So let us assume that this is a football, and you are standing here at the center of the football. Mr. Vantika, are we clear?
Yeah.
So let us take a portion of the football. Let us take a portion of this football. Now, when you look at this portion of the football, this portion of the football would be subtending some angle at your eye. Are we clear? Ms. Avantika, are we clear?
Yeah.
Or another way of, easy way of looking at this is, let us assume that, you are holding this umbrella. You are holding this umbrella.
Mm.
Now, when you look at that umbrella, whole of the surface of the umbrella is subtending some angle on your eye. When you look at this umbrella, it subtends a certain angle on your eye. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, this is a rough figure of an eye. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that d omega, the solid angle, is the area divided by the distance of the umbrella from your eye. Avantika, are we clear?
Yeah.
I hope now it is clear.
Yeah.
So now let us look at the definition again. So what are they are trying to tell you about the solid angle is that this is the area, and this area subtends a certain angle, solid angle. Solid angle implies in 3D on your eye. So this area divided by the square of the distance between this surface and your eye. Avantika, are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us try to look at the definition again. Solid angle d omega is a ratio of the intercepted area of the spherical surface described about the apex O as the center to the square of the distance r. So if you understand this, it is okay. Otherwise, you can try to define. If there is a question, 2 mark question in the exam, just try to draw this figure and as per your understanding, describe it in few lines. Important thing is like radian, steradian is a dimensionless quantity. This is what is very important. So when we had done that MLT dimension system, so both for radian as well as steradian, both of these are dimensionless. At least in terms of length, it is dimensionless. But they have, when we had done dimension analysis, we understood that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 fundamental quantities and 2 extra quantities. This radian and steradian. These two are the extra quantities. So the system is 7 plus 2. Are we clear?
Yeah, sir.
These two are separate quantities used for defining for defining the plane angle and the solid angle. Are we clear? And these are
Yeah.
dimensionless quantity. In terms of MLT, if you want to write it in terms of MLT, no mass, no length, no time. They have their own special symbols. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once we have understood, so this part we have understood that aphelion is a Earth's distance that is farthest away from the Earth, and perihelion is with respect to celestial body. We had defined this as celestial body. So celestial body can be Earth also, it can be Pluto also, it can be Neptune also. But the moot point is that the distance is from with respect to Sun. But when we compare this with perigee and apogee, apogee is only with respect to Earth Moon system. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing is, the interesting thing is, the interesting thing is, the news media has taken to calling this full moon near perigee as supermoon because its nearness to Earth caused the moon to appear bigger and brighter effect called moon illusion. Now, this is a very interesting thing. You would have heard this news in TV or maybe in Instagram, etc. They call something called supermoon, supermoon. Now, that supermoon phenomena is related to this question that we were solving, and let us try to understand this concept of supermoon with respect to the concept of Pluto. So, this is the situation that we have with respect to Pluto. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the situation with respect to Pluto, that the farthest distance apogee is 7.3 into 10 raised to power 9 kilometer, and the shortest distance between Sun and Pluto is 4.4 into 10 raised to power 9 kilometer. This is the shortest distance. Now we have understood that what is the definition of a solid angle. Solid angle is area upon distance square. Now we assume this heavenly body, Pluto or moon or whatever, to be a sphere. When we assume it to be sphere, and again, if you are looking at this sphere, when you are looking at this sphere, when you are looking at this sphere, basically the angle that it will form, just try to imagine the angle that it will form on your eye would be this angle. Are we clear?
Yeah.
This angle. And this angle would be equal to, this angle would be equal to, it is like you take an apple, assuming apple to be, or maybe you take a orange and you slice it into two equal halves. Now, when you look at one of the half like this is a slice that you see, and the area of this slice is a pi r square. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah.
So this part, this slice, this half of the orange that you are seeing is this half, which subtends this angle, this solid angle on your eye. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah.
So my omega, let me not use d. So my omega, the solid angle, would be equal to this pi r square, where r is the radius of this sphere, divided by d square, where d is the distance between the body and the eye. Yeah. So now, if I am, let us assume my eye is on Pluto. I'm sorry, Sun, and I'm watching Pluto here. This area, this pi r square of Pluto would be equal to pi uh, into r square. What is r square? 2300 kilometer is the diameter of Pluto. 2300 kilometer is the diameter of Pluto as per the question. So 1150 kilometer would be the radius of Pluto. Are we clear? So
Yeah.
this part is r. So this slice of Pluto would be pi r square, and that pi r square is this area that would be subtended on the eye, and this pi r square is being mentioned here. So this is a pi r square and this is a pi r square. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah.
Okay. Now d square, when it is farthest, this is the d that I have, square of this. So 7.3 into 10 raised to power 9 ka square. So I have written this as 7.3 square into 10 raised to power 18. 10 raised to power 18 is 10 raised to power 9 ka square. And when I look at the shortest distance is 4.4 into 10 raised to power 9. So 4.4 square into 10 raised to power 18 ka square. Are we clear, Avantika?
Yeah, sir.
So I can calculate it. Now I'm in a situation where I just have to use a calculator and, I can calculate the uh, solid angle at the farthest distance, which is subtended at my eye, and the solid angle at the shortest distance, which is subtended at the eye. Now let me show you the figures and let us try to understand what does this mean. So when we look at the calculations, calculations you can do, that is not a, much of an issue. So now the interesting thing is, look at this angle and this angle, and they have done a comparison also, the percentage change also. So there is a 93% change. And what does this mean for us? When the Pluto, the heavenly body, is farthest, the angle subtended is small, and when it is closest, the angle subtended is large. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And there is almost 100% increase. What this implies is that almost the size of Pluto doubles. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Now, why am I discussing this? I'm discussing this because I want to tell you what exactly is a supermoon. So, this phenomena of supermoon is that when moon is farthest from when moon is farthest from Earth, then the angle subtended is small. But when it is closest to Earth, the same angle subtended becomes large. And that is why they have started calling this as a supermoon. It seems that the size of moon has increased. While the size of moon hasn't increased, it is just that moon is now closer to us. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And if you look at the if you look at if you look at data, they can easily provide you the farthest distance of moon from Earth, the shortest distance of moon from Earth, and then you can make another angle. You can make another question like this, where you take where they have taken Pluto and sun system. You can take a moon and Earth system. Are we clear?
Yeah.
So you can make another question like this. I think I've sent you this worksheet. This has answers also. So otherwise, I'll send it again. But for more practice, you can have a look at this question also. What is the solid angle subtended by moon in the sky? So here we have moon, and you are looking at moon. Again, you will have to take this area, and then you will see what is the what is the distance of moon from Earth, and you can calculate the angle which is subtended. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Here they are using the mean orbital radius, but we know that there would be uh, two distances. One would be the farthest distance, and one would be the closest distance. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So that also you can calculate. If you want, you can calculate. You can get the data from Google, and then you can do the calculations. Ms. Avantika, are we clear?
Yeah.
So the things that we learned was that things that we learned were we learned about solid angle. We understood these four new terms. If you didn't understand them in geography, third is we understood this phenomena of supermoon. Ms. Avantika, are we clear about these?
Yeah.
And then we also looked at some other numericals which can be made using this concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.